Good morning, and welcome back to RaiderIO's Race to World First Daily Recap. I'm Rook, and I'll be your guide through all of the progression details, the terrifyingly difficult bosses, and the general silliness that has been the Race to World First through Nerub-ar Palace. It seems that Mythic is well and truly open. Over 450 guilds worldwide have killed at least one Mythic boss, and 95 guilds have killed Oceanic as of this recording. They now face their first difficult decision of the raid. Do they go to the giant slug-shaped boss wall, or do they go to the tiny void assassin boss wall? Sad news emerged from the Method camp yesterday as Cruella and 4 other players tested positive for COVID and had to be quarantined. We wish them all a very speedy recovery, and we hope that their guildies are keeping them well stocked with soup and comfy blankets. Before we go any further, on a slightly lighter note, we'd love to wish a very happy birthday to Mears. There's nothing like celebrating your birthday by watching Preach eat all your cake.
You can see it started well by assessing the width.
I like the little wiggle.
I mean, I don't have a wide mouth, but then it became to the girthy side. Alex, you take it from here.
Yeah, no, just shoving all the... I like the 3-finger technique of just really... Oh my god.
Or, you know, looking a giant prickly slug right in the face. Echo committed to returning to Broodtwister Prague after farm and lunch, with a new and improved comp and a fascinating egg weak aura. Well, we were excited about the weak aura, at least. The Raiders, maybe not so much. We can certainly sympathize, as Echo's Raiders spent much of the day working through Broodtwister Ovinax's considerable health pool. While they made some significant strides in progression, the reigning Race to World First champs turned in early for a good night's sleep after 53 pulls and a new best of 40.89%. Method's morale seemed to be holding strong despite their sick team members. In a brilliant comp decision, Method approached Broodtwister with 2 Blood Death Knight tanks, forgoing the 3-tank strat that both Echo and Liquid attempted for many pulls. Their comp decisions certainly served Method well, as they managed to bring the boss down to 41.78% health in 57 pulls. We can't wait to see Method and Echo neck and neck today, fighting for that world's 2nd Ovinax kill. Crowd favorites Honolulu continued their onslaught of Nexus Princess Kaiveza. They are 15 pulls in with a best of 82%. As always, they seemed to have fun, we think.
Brother.
Yeah, because I got to those f***ing daggers.
The boss is fine, guys.
FSY finished their splits and finally stepped into the raid, clearing 4 out of 8 mythic bosses fairly quickly before calling it a night. Will they follow the pack to Broodtwister next, or go against the grain and pick Kaiveza as their next target? Max feels that both Broodtwister and Kaiveza are heavily gear dependent.
What has been established is that Ovinax is going to require an insane amount of gear. And Kaiveza is going to require an insane amount of gear. And they're the kind of bosses where every single shred of eye level is felt.
But he did suggest that Kaiveza is the more difficult of the 2 bosses. How will these boss choices play out for our guilds on the leaderboard? Chinese Guild End Myth, in a legendary show of patience and persistence, played straight through the night until 4 a.m. They pulled Broodtwister an incredible 132 times, reaching a new best of 61.51%. This has been an excellent first day, and then some, for End Myth. In Oceania, Cope had their first look at Broodtwister. Honestly, the guild killed Oceanic shortly after Cope and decided to head down a different path, pulling Kaiveza first. And it's clear why Max thinks that this might be the more difficult of the 2 bosses. Even with excellent gameplay, getting clipped by any mechanic almost guarantees certain death. Crimson and Entropy, unsurprisingly then, will also be trying their hand at Broodtwister first. Instant Dollars incredibly pulled ahead of both of our EU frontrunners after only 46 pulls, ending their raid night in world 2nd with a best attempt of 39% on Broodtwister Ovinax. After their first very inspiring day on Broodtwister, Liquid woke up and spammed Mythic Plus for the first half of the day before breaking for lunch. Max hinted at some big roster and strat changes, and we did see some significant comp swaps. The plan seemed to work well. as Liquid got right back into their groove and then gave us so many nail biters, including a painful 0.55% wipe, but
And they survived this with 30 seconds to go, 2% on the boss.
Big
The
heal.
damage check looks great. They just
Oh my god,
need to get
the freedom
through
immune.
it.
The freedom immune 2 players, that is actually insanely good. And now Sari's in that angel form, and the boss is at 1.3% HP. There is 12 seconds left on the Hardened Rage, and 10 seconds left, and the boss is at less than 0.5%, and it looks like it's going to be a
Let's go.
they did it at long last. Liquid finally earned their world first Broodtwister Ovinax kill and moved on to Nexus Princess Kaiveza. They spent the remainder of their raid day on the Nexus Princess, pulling quickly to refine their strats as much as possible and ensure a full day of progression today. They've completed their heroic splits, normal splits, and done a multitude of mythic plus, so this boss may just come down to perfect execution. The real question is, will Kaiveza be mechanically possible this week? Liquid's current best pull is 63%, and we are excited to see everything they have in store for us today. Echo's casters did confirm that the dev who created Painsmith, Halandris, and Firak also designed Silken Court. So, how are we feeling about the bosses after Kaiveza? I have a feeling we haven't seen the worst of what this raid has to offer yet.
I think at this point, it would be extremely unlikely for it to be in one reset.
Thank you all for joining me for day 3 of the Race to World First daily recap through RaiderIO. I've been your host, Rook, and I'll be back tomorrow to bring you all the latest. Happy raiding!